everyone, and thanks for joining us for day two of the Translation Summit, where we will be discussing the experience of growing up trans in the US. Today's sessions will cover topics including how to create a more inclusive education system, extracurricular activities, and navigating personal relationships. Before we dive into our panels, I'd like to introduce today's keynote speaker, Schuyler Bailar.
Hi, my name is Schuyler Bailar and I use he, him pronouns. I'm 24 years old and I'm from Washington, D.C. And today I am so excited to welcome you to day two of the Transhood Summit. Today you're going to talk about inclusion in sports of trans people, inclusion of trans people in school, and what that looks like. This is extremely dear to me as a transgender person, but more importantly as a transgender athlete. I am the first transgender athlete to compete for a Division I men's team in college sports in this country. And I spent most of my childhood believing that my identity was going to stop me from everything that I love in this world. I didn't have the language to describe how I felt about myself, so when I was a kid, I religiously defined myself as a tomboy. I would introduce myself and say, "Hi, I'm Schuyler, I'm a tomboy," because I needed people to know that I wasn't a girl the way that other girls were girls. And, I didn't see anybody else like me. I didn't understand that I was allowed to be who I am. I was allowed to say that I'm a boy. So instead, like I said I was a tomboy. And, I was bullied all the time for looking different, for acting different, for never being, quote, girl enough, and for never being a, quote, real boy. I think middle school is a difficult time for a lot of people. But for me, I existed in this in-between, especially with gender. And I remember running from one end of the school to the other end to find the adult-only, the staff-only bathroom, and to use that one instead of the girls' bathroom because the staff-only bathroom was single-stalled. And I thought it was probably better for me to get in trouble for that, for going into the staff-only bathroom, than to get scorned by all the girls in my grade who would yell at me every single time I went into the girls' bathroom because I didn't look like a girl. And, as I grew through that time, and especially as I tried to conform to whatever femininity looked like in high school, and then as I actually figured out what the word meant for transgender, what that meant to me, and was able to actually claim my identity, I really was afraid that I wasn't going to be able to be myself and also do what I love. I thought that my transness was going to lose me my sport, swimming, and at the time when I figured out that I was transgender, I had been recruited to swim for Harvard women's swim team. And I was like, if I tell them that I'm transgender, I'm going to lose everything. And the reason for most of this strife, that most of the struggle, was that I never saw anybody like me in the world. There were no trans people in the media, but there was definitely no trans people in sports. And so one of the most important parts of this experience to watch Transhood and be involved in this documentary and just see other trans people on the screen and in such an enormous media outlet such as HBO is life-changing. I wish that I had seen something like that when I was a kid, and I am so grateful for that existing now because younger trans folks can see that and say, hey, there's somebody like me, I'm allowed to exist. And I want to share that far and wide. I want every kid to know that they can be exactly who they are, whatever that means to them. Maybe it means trans or gay or LGBTQ of some kind, but maybe it doesn't. Maybe it means something else that differs from what people expect from them. They can be that. They can hold that. They can hold that difference in their identity and also do what they love. Trans people are so beautiful and so wonderful, and there's nothing wrong with being trans. And I think that's what this documentary helps show, and what I want to help show. Our transness is not ever something that should hold us back. It is honestly what I've discovered. It is one of my superpowers. So I hope you have a wonderful time at the summit today. Enjoy.
Thank you, Schuyler, for sharing your personal experiences with us all. We know the transgender community faces an uphill battle in America's education system, inside and outside of the classroom, and we're glad we were able to have you with us today. Now, as we continue day two of the Translation Summit, I'm thrilled to pass the mic over to our first panel of the day, Growing Up Trans. If you're joining us live, please stick around and the next session will begin momentarily. If you're catching up with us after the fact, you can click the link provided for the next session.